Today, I'm going to give you a walkthrough of how someone could really easily come into the CloudGo.ai platform with any project or with a Vercel project and just get started and get a custom backend in just a couple of minutes. So there's a few different ways to enter the CloudGo.ai interface. You could select one of our templates, you can type in a prompt, or you can upload a GitHub like a V0 project and say, okay, here's my V0 project. I want you to build out a backend for me. Just say that in the prompt here, and it'll build out that custom backend. It'll analyze the connections or how it needs to interact with that. What's the best backend and kind of work with it. And then from there, it's going to say, okay, here's your backend. It's going to ask you follow-up questions to make sure it's tailored to your needs, and you'll just be off to the races. Today, though, we're just going to go through a actual example conversation starting at a prompt. So basically, I have a need to deploy my Next.js app. I want to manage project domain. I want it to connect to my actual project. I want this to be done in AWS. Here's some additional stuff that we said of just like I want to be able to set all the configuration of the services to use the Terraform configuration file. You don't have to say any of this. I provided my Vercel API key down here. You don't have to say that stuff. It just will be asked down here, and our system will walk you through. Here's the questions. Here's how to answer it. You're never expected to know information. It will always kind of help you kind of bridge the gap of your knowledge to get you to a working infrastructure and help you understand what to do. So it's going to ask them these follow-up questions just to help it better understand, what it needs to do for your project. You could specifically answer them. You could ask follow-up questions of, okay, what do you mean by AWS services? Like, what's the difference between AWS Secret Manager Secret or AWS Manager Secret version? And it'll kind of answer that question for you. Or you could just be, super casual. Like, yeah, that works. Just pass the variables, simple Terraform, and just whatever makes sense to you is what you should use. And you can just be off to the races. We have kind of this custom build plan that's really easy to read and understand of like a project overview and an architecture and key components. It tells you the providers it uses, the data flow, the structure. It gives you this nice diagram and how it integrate with your Next.js app, the future improvements. And you can interact with this how you will. You could actually just go on, write to CodeGen. You could ask questions about the plan, like, what do you mean by the integration with Next.js app? Or can you explain a little bit more what the AWS Secret Manager secret thing you used was? Or can you explain a little bit more of just what your thought process was for this? Or you could actually make specific modifications. Like, I don't want you to use this service. I want you to do another one. Or can you make something cheaper? I don't need all that security. This is more for testing. Like, can you just go back and do that? You could say things like that, and it'll be able to edit that build plan for you. We give you a nice resources list of here's the documents we used, and we also give you a great kind of just view of the actual number of files that we went through that we really consider to make sure you got the best infrastructure for your needs. And as you can see here, we went through almost 6,000 files. We narrowed that down to 38 relevant documents of the best kind of possible ways to build out your infrastructure. And then from that 38, we further refined that down to this. Okay, here's the best way to accomplish. So for each feature, each integration, or each thing you need for your backend to kind of coincide with your V0 or your Vercel deployment, here is not just a way to do it, but the best way to do it based on your use case. And that's kind of this third just filtering of, okay, here's the documentations. And I mean, this in seconds, you were able to get this full build plan ready to go. Then it kind of goes through a code gen walkthrough. You can see every single step. You click on it and drill down into here's the instructions of kind of what it did. Here's some of the reference path, what it used, and you get a great idea of, okay, here's what it looked through at each stage of my project, and here's kind of the steps it went through to write this code and give me that best practice. Here's your coding project as well. You have a great README file you can read through. The code has comments in it, so you can actually read through this as well. Like we have a Terraform TF-vars file, and it really easily walks you through. Like here's where you put your Vercel API token. You obtain it from Vercel account settings. This is where you put your Vercel project name, the domain name, your database password, your API key. Like it's just really obvious. Like this is where you go in. This is your placeholder values, and it says the placeholder values up here, so you're never confused. And you don't even have to know how to look there. Like we ran a validate code section. It ran validate, it caught some things, it fixed them just immediately, it just click of a button. And it said next steps, like, go replace all the values in Terraform TFR. So you know to do that. And okay, I just need to go in. It's very clearly labeled. You could always ask questions. Where do I find this database password? Where do I find this configuration key? Where do I find the API key? Like, can you help me do that? It'll always walk you through. It'll always help you do that. We have a cost estimate here, which is like, and it's really easy to read. Here's the baseline cost every month. And then if I have a certain amount of requests, it's really easy to just calculate, 100,000 requests. Oh, an extra 50 cents. Great. That's super within my cost range. Very cheap, easy to manage. A super complex project. I'll do it. I'm 100% down for that. And then you could always just ask it outside of just code gen. You could always modify the code, but like just basic things of how do I work with this? How do I manage this? Can you help me? And we'll always help you walk through that process. I could just ask, how would I use this product to manage my Vercel project? And as you can see, it tells you how to configure the environment, how to run the right commands, how to monitor the deployment, how to do DNS configuration, future management, what that would look like. It's just really easy laid out. You could expand on any of those bullets and have it walk you through individualized steps. We have this visualization tool to visualize the project. And then for next steps, we have a direct integration with GitHub. So you just push and pull to GitHub. We have a logging button, as you can see here. And what that logging does is it allows you to run logs for your project, whether it's in Vercel, AWS, GCP, and you are going to be able to kind of go in and just get those logs, kind of have that management kind of done for you and figure out what's wrong to keep your project up to date, functioning, and just really reduce the risk that like your backend's going to go down. Right now, as I said, we have support for Google Cloud and Amazon. Soon is coming Azure, and it's be very easy in a week or two, just the way we built up the system, to have full Terraform Vercel integration as well. So that is something that we are purpose built to do, and will be very easy to kind of get the full life cycle and get that full Vercel integration in our platform. And yeah, that's just how easy it would be in just 5-10 minutes to come in with just an idea or a project coming from Vercel and get a full custom infrastructure route and not just get the code, but have a great understanding of what's in the code, what the code's going to cost you, how to integrate it, how to deploy it, and just have real confidence that what you're doing is the right answer and that it is a backend and an infrastructure that is just going to work and scale with you.